To all who come to this happy place, welcome. In like 60 years, you'll take your grandkids here and literally nothing will be the same. Well, except for this castle.
Wait, what the hell?
But you'll be able
That's
to
not
put
in the
lightsabers
script.
for like $200.
Josh, what
so
did you
that's pretty
do?
cool.
Wait, my favorite part's coming up.
And after I die, my head's going to be frozen under the park so that when they find a cure for the cancer I don't have yet, I can come back as a robot.
Josh, actually, what the fuck?
Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing alright. If you're not, hopefully we can turn that mood around today. Anyway, in case you couldn't tell, I'm a bit of a Disney fan. You know, just a little. I think I hide it pretty well. And in the past, I've made a couple controversial videos about some certain changes I'd like to see made to the parks and changes that are confirmed to be happening. Listen, no matter how many angry comments I get, Splash Mountain is still getting rethemed, okay? But it's fine. It's fine. You can still wear your ugly ponchos. No one's gonna stop you. But these kinds of conversations and topics always bring me back to this very core debate that I actually find myself kind of torn on, which is, when it comes to Disney parks and parks in general, is it better to treat everything as a piece of history, only looking to expand rather than replace attractions? Or is it best to take the opposite approach and treat nothing as sacred and consistently upgrade and replace and change existing attractions? And honestly, I think regardless of where you stand on that question, it still is an important discussion to have because there truly is no right or wrong answer there. As fans and as consumers, we're allowed to have opinions on the things we spend our money and our time on. That's totally valid. But on the other hand, theme parks are a lot like museums, the lands within them the exhibits, and the attractions the pieces that are on display. So that mindset then turns into, these rides are all pieces of history that deserve to be preserved as a reflection of the time in which they were created. Or that stance becomes, these parks are a canvas for the Imagineers and the designers, and they should be free to paint whatever they want, even if that means replacing something else. So with those schools of thought in mind, let's dive a little deeper. Pretty recently, Disney announced a proposed expansion to Disneyland in California Adventure. The thing is though, this is less of an announcement of what guests can expect moving forward, and more of a proposal to Anaheim City Council basically telling them what they want to do with this land. Because here's the thing, they don't own it yet. Unlike Disney World, which rests on 43 square miles of land, Disneyland takes up only 500 acres. That means you can fit like 50 Disneylands in Disney World. Look at all those Disneylands. But that's also kind of the issue, because Disneyland is absolutely stuffed to the brim at this point, and there's just no way to build any more expansions without physically expanding the land it sits on. Which becomes an even bigger problem because that land is fully developed. Like, people live there. There are businesses there. Entire lives would have to be upended for this kind of expansion to happen. But it's either kicking mom and dad out of their house or killing Dumbo, so pretty tough choice there, guys. And I get it. People grow up with these attractions and want to share them with their friends or with their kids. But obviously if you slice off Dumbo's ears and hang them up in your office, you can't really do that. But on the other side of that argument, a lot of these attractions were built decades ago, and ride technology has changed a lot in the last 60 years. Not to mention all the new movies that have been released since then too. I mean, wouldn't it make sense to replace an outdated attraction with something a little more exciting? Whenever I make a video like this, people always bring up the point of, but it's expensive though. And yeah, you're right, but that's not really what I'm arguing here, so you can hold off on those comments for today. At least with this conversation, we're basically at the breaking point of space. Disneyland, assuming Anaheim City Council denies their request, literally cannot introduce any new attractions without having them replace something else that's already there. Which is funny, because it's both pretty true to Walt's intended vision for the park, Disneyland will never be completed, while also a nightmare for preservationists who don't want to see their favorite attractions get the boot. And yes, obviously you vote for the unpopular attractions that don't draw a lot of crowds to go first. But the problem is that a lot of those are also classic Walt attractions that those same people will still end up throwing hands over. But I get it, I do, I swear. Which is why I put together a list of attractions that I think should be completely off limits for Disney to replace going forward. I put all of them here because honestly none of them are perfect. None of them are above being replaced. I did put a little caveat for Matterhorn down here though, because like that's a mountain. You can't just blow up a mountain. That's dangerous. There's a basketball court in there. Okay. Allow me to clarify a little bit. Yes, there are some classic attractions that I would absolutely hate to see go, namely Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, and Pirates of the Caribbean. But even then, that doesn't mean I think any major updates or changes are off the table. I mean, hell, all of them either have had or are having major renovations to them, and honestly, I think that's a good thing. As times change, so does what we find entertaining. I mean, just look at the relevance of Western films over the last 80 years. It used to be a massive genre, and now we get maybe one a year, kind of. It's a dead genre. You can't tell me it's not a dead genre. It's a dead genre. My point is nothing is truly timeless, and in a medium as permanent as theme parks, that's especially important to recognize. Unless your name is Journey into Imagination, then you were perfect the way you are when you were first conceived, and every change that has ever happened to you has only been for your detriment. And I am so sorry, Figment, you deserve so much better. While we're on the topic of Figment, I want to turn my attention towards the nothing is sacred side of the argument, specifically with Epcot. For those that don't know, I actually worked in Epcot for a while. It's easily my favorite park, and I also actually stole the Epcot ball, and it's currently sitting on my desk. You can see it right over there. It is no longer in the park because it is now on my desk. Well, I guess it's more of a shelf, but whatever. Oh, and you can also expect at least a few of these posters behind me to be replaced with Epcot ones soon. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit, because, I have to make money first, but yeah, just so you know, Sunshine Tree Terrace, love ya. Probably getting the boot soon. Epcot was basically created as a celebration of Walt's original vision for the Florida project. Except Epcot is literally nothing like Walt's original vision for the Florida project. You can watch Defunctland's video on the original idea of Epcot if you want to learn more about it, but that's not really the point I'm trying to make here, so I'm just gonna let you guys go watch that if you're interested. If you visited Epcot in 1982, and then again in 2021, with the exception of the buildings in the World Showcase and Spaceship Earth, except not Spaceship Earth because, as we've established, I stole it, it's basically a completely different park. And with the actual ride of Spaceship Earth being redone to celebrate storytelling rather than the history of communication, the only original opening day attractions left are the American Adventure, Living with the Land, and Impressions de France, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty sure is on the way out, but you didn't hear that from me. Epcot, honestly, is a park that's almost completely unrecognizable from itself 40 years ago. And with the Epcot overhaul currently in progress, it's only going further and further from that original idea. But is it actually? Epcot stands for the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, and honestly, I feel like it still represents that core theme really well, even though it's not a city or community as it was originally intended. And the immense changes the park has seen over the last 40 years are all necessary to remain thematically consistent with its mission statement. The real question is, do these massive amounts of changes coming to Epcot in the next few years accurately reflect that fundamental message of the park? Epcot started out as the place free of Disney IP and branding, being the permanent World's Fair, celebrating community with its eyes set towards tomorrow. As Epcot's evolved though, Disney properties have slowly started creeping their way into the park, and I'll be honest, I don't really mind it. I mean, Frozen Ever After is easily a cooler ride than Maelstrom, no matter how you spin it, and I'm personally a big fan of Donald Duck, so of course, Grand Fiesta Tour is always a good time for me. I mean, I'll be honest here, I personally like Marvel just a little bit more than Ellen and Bill Nye, so Guardians of the Galaxy replacing Ellen's Energy Adventure isn't really a huge deal for me. And also, Finding Nemo just fits at the seas. Don't come at me telling me it's not. It's perfect, and it works. Just don't even try. But Finding Nemo at Animal Kingdom though, that's a different story. I'll save that for a different video. Anyways, I mean, I'll be honest, the only thing I'm really kinda worried about is how well Harmonious lives up to Illuminations, but I mean, even then, the show's not out yet. I'm not gonna waste my energy talking about it when it's just gonna be irrelevant in 2 months when the show comes out. Instead, I just want to wrap up with my own personal thoughts on the whole discussion, and also please let me know what you think down in the comments down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys about this. Just please keep it civil, keep it positive, and don't come at anybody, especially if they're not me. If you hate my takes that badly, take it out on me, not other people participating in the discussion down in the comments, okay? Anyway, really where I end up standing here is honestly a pretty neutral space. There's nothing I'm clamoring for to be replaced, But I also know that when Disney does usually renovate, retheme, or replace an attraction, they usually make me prefer the newer version anyway. Unless we're talking about Journey into Imagination, but I mean, hey, they can't all be winners. And I think that's where I'll leave this one. I know this was a little different from my usual funny haha videos, but you know, sometimes I just get that little analytical itch and I just need to scratch at that rash. And these videos are my ointment. Ah, that was terrible. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I sincerely appreciate every single one of you that made it to the end of this video. If you liked it, please leave a like. If you want to see more of what I make in the future or what I've made before, I'm really proud of all the videos I've been making recently. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you all next week. We're gonna have a fun one again, I promise. And have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you all next time. Peace.